Broadband Troubleshooting, improving speed and performance for your broadband. This video will help you rectify the most common broadband problems quickly so you can be running as normal in no time, without needing to speak with your service provider. We will look at the steps you can take to identify the cause of the problem, whether you are experiencing no connection or a slower than normal connection. These checks and changes can also help improve the speed you are receiving. There are many different types of broadband router. For this video, we are using an advanced Draytek and show a standard and more recognizable home router. Rebooting your broadband router. The first thing to always try when experiencing problems is to reboot the broadband router. Turn it off for 30 seconds by the on-off switch, or by disconnecting the power cable, or turning it off at the mains and then turn it back on again. It is important to ensure the router is powered off for 30 seconds to allow the broadband service to fully disconnect. Caution: be careful not to mistake the reset button as a way to reboot the router. By pressing this, which is required by use of a pin in most cases, you will wipe all current configurations to work with your broadband service, setting the router back to its factory default mode. After rebooting, watch the lights come back on the front of the router. This may take up to 5 minutes to re-establish. Check to see if this has solved the problem by opening web pages on a PC. Also, you can try rebooting other equipment connected between the router and your PCs, such as your network switch. Or if you have a modem connecting your broadband service, reboot this device. Status lights on the Draytek broadband router. If rebooting your router fails to resolve your issue, check the lights on your broadband router. ACT is for activity. If this is blinking, the router is powered on and running normally. If this light is off, the router is powered off. WLAN is Wireless Local Area Network. When this light is on, the wireless access point is ready. When this light is blinking, it means that wireless traffic is passing. DSL is Data Subscriber Line. This light operates if you are using your router with a DSL broadband connection. If you have a cable broadband or are using a modem, this light will be off. When this light is on, the router is ready to access the internet over the DSL link. If this light is blinking, there are two observations to make. Slowly means the DSL connection is ready. Quickly, trying to connect to the DSL service. Static, service is connected to the DSL service. WAN2 is the second wide area network. This port may be used for a cable service or in conjunction with a modem. This is most commonly used as a failover backup to a secondary DSL service. If the lights are solid, internet connection is ready. Off, internet connection is not ready. Blinking, the data is transmitting. DOS, denial of service. If this is on, DOS function is active. Blinking, DOS attack has been detected. This is an attack where someone is trying to slow down or shut down your service by sending a large amount of data traffic to your broadband router. If you have IT support, you may want to speak with them to diagnose these issues. GigaLAN, local network connectors. The The left LED, if this is on, the port is connected. If it is off, the port is disconnected. The right LED, if it is on, equipment connected with 1000 megabits. If it is off, equipment connected with up to 100 megabits. Status lights on the TECHNICOLOUR broadband router. The power light. When this is orange, it means the router is powering on. Green means it's powered on, and off means there is no power connected. If the Ethernet light is on, then a device or devices are connected to the broadband router LAN ports. When this is blinking, there is data being transmitted. If it is off, no devices are connected to the LAN ports. Broadband. If this is off, it means there is no successful internet connection. Flashing fast green indicates the router is establishing broadband connection. A solid green means the broadband is in sync and ready to use. Internet. A solid green means there is internet connection. Flashing green indicates data traffic is passing. If it is flashing red, it is establishing connection. And when off, there is no internet connection. WPS. If this light is off, it is inactive. Flashing orange signifies a Wi-Fi device is pairing. A red light means pairing with a device has failed. Green indicates a device pairing successfully. Wireless. If this light is off, then the wireless is disabled. It is green when the wireless is enabled, and it is flashing green when data is passing. If you press and hold the wireless button for 5 seconds, this will enable or disable the router's wireless. Upgrade. When this light is off, there is no upgrade in process. If this light is blue, then the router is currently receiving software updates from your internet service provider. Please note, do not switch off your router at this time, as this will interrupt the upgrade process and may damage your router. The LAN ports. The light is on if a device is connected. The light is flashing when data is passing. Checking and replacing the broadband cables and filter. Check all phone line points in your office or home to make sure that each one has a filter attached. Even if the socket is not in use, it should still have a filter attached. Is anything else plugged into the telephone socket or into the filter? Try removing any other device that may be connected to the line, such as a standard telephone, fax machine, franking machine, or credit card machine, as this may help to identify if the service improves once this is removed. Changing the network cables. There are cables that connect from your broadband router to your devices, or in an office you may have a network switch. Check no cables have come loose and try changing these cables. Checking the plug sockets. Try changing the plug socket that your broadband router is connected to. It is also good to connect your router to a plug on the wall rather than a standard extension lead for optimum performance. Connecting a PC or laptop directly into a port on the router. Try connecting a PC or laptop directly to a port on your broadband router. By doing this, you can discover if there is any home or office network interference. If the service is available with this direct connection and you can browse the internet as normal again, or the speed improves, you know that it is not the broadband, but some other equipment causing an issue, whether that is a network switch, server, firewall, internal cabling, a PC, or something else. If there is no change, you know that the problem starts at the router. Performing a speed test. Visit www.speedtest.net or another similar service and click Begin Test. Although this is not always 100% accurate, it will give an estimated figure. A device using Wi-Fi may report a lower speed than a cable connection. A PC on your office network may give a different speed to that of another PC, so perform a test on all other devices to identify if the issue is the same for all users or only related to a single device. Test with a PC or a laptop connected directly to your broadband router to see if this makes a difference. This would further highlight any potential issue within your office or home rather than with the broadband service. Replacing the cable that connects the broadband router to the filter. This is the thin telephone cable which connects from the broadband router to the filter, which is plugged into the phone socket, normally fixed to the wall. Try replacing this cable. If you have the box your router came in, you may find a spare one in there. If you have a modem connection, check the cable has not come loose, or try changing this cable. Testing your broadband phone line for a line fault. To test the phone line that your broadband uses for any outside network fault, you will need a plain ordinary telephone to connect to the phone line socket directly and note what you hear when you lift the receiver. Is anything different to a normal dial tone heard? Do you hear crackling? Silence? Or anything other than a normal dial tone? If in the UK, and not using a cable broadband service that does not require a phone line, you can dial 17070 from the telephone connected to the line. You will hear some options to choose. Select Quiet Line Test.
Quiet line test.
Do you hear anything, crackling or other noise? If so, this could mean an outside line fault. It may be that your phone line and broadband services are with different providers, and in this instance, you would need to contact your phone line provider reporting what you hear and ask that they run some line tests. Plugging an analog phone into the test socket. With a screwdriver, remove the front of the phone line box, and you can connect to the test socket to eliminate any issue with the front faceplate. Older phone sockets may not have this. Once you have done this, test to see if this has improved performance. Replacing your broadband router. This is a very useful test to eliminate a router being the cause of the problem. If you have a spare router or have a new one, this will need to be configured to work with your broadband service. You will need the Internet Access username and password provided by the Internet Service Provider, and can then follow the step-by-step instruction guide to set this up. Connect this router in the same way as you can see the current one is connected, and test the performance. Important broadband factors to consider. Here are some important factors to consider when you are experiencing any broadband problems. the website you are visiting being congested or experiencing trouble. It is not always your service that is the issue. The website you are visiting may be congested because too many people are trying to gain access at the same time. The site could also be under maintenance and not allowing access. How busy the internet is. Certainly, there are times when the internet is slower, typically 4 p.m, when kids get home from school and start gaming or watching videos online. This is important to note. Maybe look at a business broadband network, cutting down the number of users to businesses only, or a private dedicated access circuit for your home or business that doesn't slow at peak times. What is happening on your home or office network? Have there been any recent changes in your use of broadband, such as new online applications or cloud services? Do you have an off-site data backup running, as these services all use bandwidth? Are you streaming radio or video, as these types of services can be heavy on bandwidth? Are any PCs running programs in the background that you may not be aware of? Is it a particular time of the day that performance is slower? Consider a business-grade broadband router to better handle the connection and number of users. If you have Office IT support, ask them to check your local network to see if they can identify what the cause may be and check for viruses. The speed of your broadband service is also hindered by the distance between your home or office and the local telephone exchange. The greater the distance you are from the exchange, the slower it will be. Weather extremes can also affect service, such as flooding, high winds, snow, and high or low temperatures. Contacting your broadband service provider. Your internet service provider and your phone line provider can perform tests and see what is happening on the network. They may identify a problem and raise a fault with an engineer. There may also be a wider issue, such as a problem at the telephone exchange or in the street affecting others as well. If there are no faults found by the service provider with your line or broadband service from the network side leading to your home or office, and if you have performed all the checks you can do on site, then an engineer may be called out to investigate further for you. Some broadband providers may charge for an engineer call-out if the fault is relating to your equipment or anything within your premises. This is why it is important to complete all the checks you can to determine if there actually is an equipment fault, cabling issue, or other interference, or if it is the external network service which requires investigation. Line fault and broadband fault resolution times may depend on the response service level you have. Where there is a wider area problem affecting many users, these service levels may be exceeded. Helpful broadband fault checks at a glance. Has your broadband router and network switches been power cycled? Left off for 30 seconds before repowering? Have cables been checked and replaced? Telephone connection cables and network cables to all devices? Has the broadband filter been replaced? Have you connected a PC or laptop directly into the router as a way to eliminate any home or office network interference to see if performance is better? Have you tried connecting to the test line socket behind the phone line socket faceplate? By removing the front of the phone line box with a screwdriver, you can connect to the test socket to eliminate any issues with the front faceplate. Older phone sockets may not have this. Have you checked all PCs for any irregular activity of programs running? Was there a recent change to cloud services using more data? Was there a recent power cut that affected other networking equipment, such as your office server? The more tests you can do yourself, the more time it will save, and you may find the problem and avoid unnecessary engineer call-out charges.